Okay, so just saying, this match was very badly played by me, but it doesn't matter, I'm just gonna explain.
Okay.
Okay, so the early game, obviously, there's like a couple kinds of proxies, but you know all of it, right? Like the three racks, 2 racks, proxy reaper.
Yeah.
But it's all like pretty standard, like everybody knows how to defend it. We still die to it because it's just pretty strong, but yeah. So from Zerg perspective, we obviously care about Terran build orders. Like we care about everything, like about like if they have a reactor or not, if they made like Marine first or 2 Marines first, stuff like that. It all matters. But you cannot really scout it so easily because you have if you fly too close with the Overlord, like obviously it can be sniped either with like 1 Marine going out or maybe a barrack floating and killing the Overlord. Generally, if Overlord dies to like floating barrack, it's always good for Terran. Right? So like, for example, if I left Overlord here and Terran knows about it, 100% of the time, Terran should just float the barracks, take 2 Marines and just kill the Overlord. Because it's not only supply blocks me, but it also kills all the information. Like there's no other Overlord next to Terran. Mm-hmm. So that's like that's pretty much the start. That's why most of the Zergs put Overlords like, far away. So the floating barrack doesn't really either here or here, like so the floating barrack cannot really kill the Overlord. But even later on, a lot of players sack the Overlord for information, but it's also not always so consistent. Like you might not get all the information you need.
Right.
And the Overlord speed is good versus Terran, but then again, like some people don't use it that often. Because it just costs a lot of money. And imagine if you go Overlord speed and they go Viking or they float the barrack and actually kill your Overlord before you get Overlord speed. Like it all sucks so much. So that's that's the scouting part. So Zergs actually, instead of relying on the Overlord, very often rely on Zergling Scout,
right.
which will be like very consistent. Like almost every game you're gonna see it at like 4 minutes, or like around 4 minutes. So just the standard stuff. Almost everybody are gonna send this Zergling, like at, link speed finishes at 330, and when it finishes, you just send a Zergling across. You can like scout for proxies. Very often there's gonna be like proxy starport, is actually a build order with Hellion drop. So that's why like you very often don't want to miss, like this is pretty much what you should do every single game no matter what as Zerg. If you don't see this, then Zerg is making a mistake, because very often there's just gonna be like a proxy starport here somewhere. It's actually pretty high. It's like a high possibility of that.
Okay.
Like Time is actually known for it. Like Time did it in his games.
Right.
So that's why I'm like sending the Zergling around like that. Okay, and like 4 minutes we scout, and now this is the first information where the game for Zerg starts. Like so far we pretty much just played single player, we just made drones, like send Overlords, put the queens everywhere, stuff like that. And now is the first decision, like because from this information here, we need to actually, well, he kind of showed me everything like very easily, but like from this information I already need to make a call how I want to play the game. Because Terran has literally like four build orders, pretty much. I mean, first thing, what matters is if they're playing 2cc or 3cc, and this is the 2cc build, like this one is late, obviously. So this is the first thing that I get confirmation here. Like I scout and I see that it's 2cc. If it's 2cc, that means Terran needs to like deal damage, needs to do something on the map. Like it will be usually like it can be Hellbat push, it can be like a Liberator here and a Hellion run by. It can be a lot of things if it's 2cc. Like they usually need to deal a lot of damage because it's just much worse than 3cc, obviously. Like much worse. It's a big difference. Like let's say if they play 2cc and they don't kill like 10 drones at least, then they're behind for sure. So they need to kill a lot if they do this. And after you realize if it's 2cc or 3cc as Zerg, you need to realize if it's 2-1-1 or 1-1-1. So like this one is obviously 1-1-1, and I can tell that it's 1-1-1 because there's like 6 Hellions on the map.
Right.
So obviously it's not 2 barracks. Like if let's say I scout and it's 2cc, and then I check here and there's like 5 Marines, then I don't know, right? Because it could be 2 things. It could be actually 2 racks on 2cc and like 2-1-1, just the 5-minute drop. Or it could be just a barrack with a reactor making Marines, and then you have like a beyond build order.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
It's like they make a medivac, they get like 8 Marines, they start dropping, hunting the overlords on the map. So that is what I think Bian was going for actually with the build order, by the way. As Terran to like to just kill the information, to like keep Zerg in the dark, because like the scouting is difficult in this part of the game. That's why like having this Bian build order where he first of all opens with like reactor, gets Marines, then floats a barrack, kills the overlord, then Zerg has no idea if it's 2-1-1 or if it's 1-1-1 or if it's a Hellbat push, or so that's like I think one of the themes that the Terrans in Korea were trying at least this year, and like very, very likely like they're gonna show it in Katowice, because if Terran has time to prepare, then obviously they're gonna go for those build orders where they can confuse a Zerg.
Yeah. Do you think that Byan is playing some of the most unique TVZ? Because it feels like he's still the one doing it most.
Well, I don't know. I think he had some nice ideas, like I say, like with this just keeping Zerg in the dark. I think he just understands very well like what Zerg sees and how they want to react. Mm-hmm. But like honestly, if this build order, like I have good understanding of it right now. Like I know that if I scout in there's 5 Marines, I know exactly what type of build orders there can be. For example, they could actually get like 5-6 Marines, show that they are playing 2cc, and then they can still make like 2 Banshees, fly around the map, and very often versus 2-1-1, for example, you skip spores, right, to have more money. Mm-hmm. And actually, you probably know this build order where they go like for those hidden Banshees. They did like Hero Marine was trying it in the past a lot. Cure was doing this. Like a lot of this, like hiding information. Right now, Maru, for example, tries a lot of BC.
Yeah.
Battle cruisers and stuff. And that's another like one of those things where they just hide information. Like they keep Hellions at home. They keep killing your information. Maybe getting a Viking to kill the overlords. And it's all like playing around pretty much that Zerg cannot prepare perfectly for everything, because for BC, actually, like the reaction is pretty expensive. Like you need to get 3 spores. Mm-hmm. You probably need to get like Baying Nest, a lot of queens, stuff like that. And most important is the 3 spores. Like you just never want to get any spores if it's 2-1-1 build order. That's why it's so important. Like I said, there's 4 build orders that Terran has. Literally, I mean, of course they have like 20, but
I know what you mean, like the main branches.
Yeah, like the main branches are 2-1-1, where there's no Banshee, no battle cruiser, and then there's 1-1-1 builder. So literally 2 build orders. And versus the 1-1-1, you just need to get the spores, because it can be a Liberator can arrive. There can be a Medivac flying in with 4 Widow Mines.
Yeah.
Like you just need the 3 spores, and the 3 spores obviously cost you 3 drones and like 200 minerals in the early game. So it's just very expensive. If you get those spores and then the 2 Medivacs with Marines arrive, then you're very sad.
Yeah. Do you personally see a lot of mech? Do you think we're going to see mech in Katowice, since we saw?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, for sure, because like Maru is playing it very often, and he like never loses a game with it so far.
It sounds fair.
But I'm sure like very good Zerg will actually probably beat mech. I think like one very important thing about this mech is that they're playing it with ghosts, and it's like one of the strongest mechs you can do. I know it since very long time that the way you're supposed to play the mech is like you get a lot of siege time. Like you open with battle cruiser always, pretty much 2 force corruptors, then you get a lot of siege tanks, some cyclones, but you just camp, you do nothing, and when you get ghosts, that's when you start doing stuff, because the ghosts, they counter like all the most important things that Zerg has going against mech.
Right. Vipers.
Yeah, because we have like Vipers, but like very often Zerg players will go like Ravager, Link, Bane, and that's it. With possibility to transition to Broodlords, because the way it works is like Ravager, Link, Bane counters pretty much everything Terran has, besides like 15 siege tanks.
Mm-hmm.
If Terran has 15 siege tanks, then obviously you need Broodlords, and that's the only way. Also, like you just having Vipers is not gonna really help you, because you can like disable a couple siege tanks, but it's not gonna like make the fight good.
Are we talking about versus mech? Do you I mean, what is your thought on the Thor versus Broodlord dynamic?
It's like a pretty even fight, I would say.
Okay.
It actually is pretty cool. Like it's pretty even fight. It depends on the execution.
Okay.
But like if Zerg has like 25 Broodlords, then obviously you should be happy about like fighting Thors. But then again, as I said, like if they get ghosts, it can be scary. And also depends on the map, because on this map, you're not gonna play Broodlords. It's like too far. Mm-hmm. This is the map where you're gonna play like Ravager, Link, Bane all game long. Maybe after the whole map is mined out and you're playing for like one base here or something, then you can go Broodlords. But usually Broodlords overall, like in every matchup, in every matchup, pretty much you only play it on either a small map where you have like 6 bases. Let's say like this was everything you have, right? Like those bases, without those like side bases. Then you can play Broodlords very easily. But like when you start fighting for those edge bases, then that is impossible. Because like mech is immobile, but it's much more mobile than Broodlords.
Yeah. So would you say that sometimes when we see that very late transition into Broodlords, sometimes it's not exhausting the possibilities. It's actually because the map's been reduced. Like you're fighting over some of the last resources, so you're kind of like fighting in a smaller area. Or would you say it's more about like exhausting the possibilities? Because I'm thinking of a lot of versus mech games where, we're saying maybe Broodlords, but we'll get there when we get there, and then it's like only at 45 minutes does Serral make Broodlords.
Yeah, so it's exactly that. Like Broodlords are just slight, because Broodlords are actually, in my opinion, pretty bad unit. They are only a little bit better than, let's say, Ravager, Link, Bane.
Okay.
In some cases, they are much better. Like if the Terran has 20 siege tanks, then obviously it's much better.
Right.
But usually they are only a little bit better than Ravager, Link, Bane. And it just doesn't come into use if you have to like run around the map. Then they're much worse. So they're only a little bit better if you're camping in one spot, you're sitting here with mass spore, and then Broodlords are much better. But you can only do it if there's like only one map or one base left,
right?
Or two. Then you can like just sit here and just mine those bases out, and then the Terran needs to attack into you. Okay. But that's the niche of Broodlord, pretty much. Like they're good if you can just sit in one spot. Same versus Protoss. It's like if Zerg gets bad Broodlords, then you're pretty much never gonna attack anymore. Like you're just gonna sit there until the map is mined out. and then you can maybe try doing stuff. But that's like how Broodlords work right now.
Okay. So this game, you know what's going on. So what are your reactions? What are you?
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, I scouted here, right? I already know it's 2cc because of couple tells. Like I know the timings of the Hellions. I know there's 2 depots here.
Yeah.
And obviously he just showed me the CC, but he didn't need to. Like I would know that he doesn't have a CC here. So I immediately know it's 2cc 111. So it's very simple. I just need to get spores, like I said, get Baling Nest for Hell Battalions. So right now I'm getting spores. Like if there was a possibility it's 211, I would never get those spores. Like I said, because this is all there is in this matchup, really. Like you're just executing a build order, just making drones, making queens, and the only decision is if there's a possibility of like Battlecruiser or Banshees, then you need to get those spores, and that's it. Other than that, you just do the same thing. So I get 4 spores because in case of Banshees, like if 2 Banshees fly in here, like between my bases, it's pretty nice to have this spore.
Okay.
And then also some people Like you also like some people say that versus Banshees you need a lair,
Right, yeah.
and that's true. But if they're playing 2cc, as I said, they're very committed. Like they need to kill so much that I don't want to invest into tech right now. Like it's more important for me to actually just get queens out, get Zerglings out, get the spores out, because I know that as long as they don't kill like 10 drones, and like I'm gonna be ahead in like a very, very good position. It would be a different situation if they played 3cc. So like the first CC would be finished already. Then I would probably like skip this spore in the middle. Then I would get fast lair because I need to like actually get good economy, good tech fast. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, would you say, because I do recall I was talking to Lambo last time I did this, and he was saying that like sometimes, yeah, that faster layer just helps against Banshees. Do you think that you're kind of stylistic in this approach, or do you think that, you know, a lot of Zergs would approach this game like you did?
No, I think this is pretty standard. Well, I honestly don't know how others would approach it, but I think it would be like there's a couple steps you just need to do as like I don't know, like they're just forced from you. For example, this Bailing Nest, it's forced. Like if you don't get this Bailing Nest right now and they go Hellbat push, you die. So this is forced. Spores are also forced, because if you don't get spores right now at 4:30 and a Banshee arrives here with Cloak, you're also dead. So you just need to get the spores. And now I could get a lair. That's true. And maybe Lambo would get this lair. But like I have 6 larvae. I don't know, like, I mean, there's just other things to do right now. Like, lair is not, like, you already have detection, you already have the spores, so the lair is just not a necessity. The only thing that is gonna help you is you're gonna get faster bailing speed, and you're gonna be able to maybe take this 4th base faster with an Overseer. But then again, like, if the Banshees are here, then you can just take the base here.
Okay.
So it's like you know, it's probably stylistic, but like I think it makes sense what I do, right? Like
Sure.
You could get a lair, of course. Some people will get a lair.
And then Time was doing, I remember, yeah, Time was doing that additional armory.
He was doing very weird builds this game. So overall, it's actually, I'm just not pointing it out because it's not something I see as a Zerg.
Of course, yeah.
Like, so some people would scout, would try to send an Overlord, but as I said, it's just, they do have Marines, like it's not gonna be consistent. So you cannot really rely on it as Zerg.
Yeah, it's just that I think he, it is the first game, right? So,
yeah, but I knew more or less that this is a possibility, how he's gonna play.
Okay.
But more or less, like I'm trying to put it simply, like I know he's 2cc and I know he's gonna all-in me. Like he needs to deal damage. That's all I need to know, right?
Okay.
From this very early scout at 4 minutes, I already know, like I just need to make defense, and at some point in the next 2 minutes, probably earlier than later, he's gonna attack me. Because otherwise, why would he go 2cc? Like it's not complicated.
Okay.
If they go 2cc and they like fake you and play macro, it's just fine for me, because like I can commit so much. As I said, they need to kill like 10 drones to get even, pretty much, or get like slightly ahead.
Okay.
So I can commit a lot.
Yeah, then next battle is, I guess, getting this 4th base up.
Yeah. But it's very simple, because right now instead of like, I delayed the lair, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was just massing a lot of queens, because I never stopped queen production in case of, because I know he's gonna attack me. So I know there's gonna be like a BC gonna, like, I'm really blind. Like people laugh at me that, you know, I have no information, but I know more or less what's gonna happen. Like I'm preparing literally for a possibility that a BC is gonna teleport into my main base right now. Like I'm ready for it. I have so much queens, and it's totally something different. It's totally something different than a BC, but I'm still fine. Because I just have queens, I have Bailing Nest, I'm ready for everything. They cannot... The only thing that would really surprise me is if he had a 3rd base I don't know, if he had a hidden base,
Yeah.
massing SCVs, but even then, like, I mean, I guess then I would be a bit,
So,
yeah.
we talk a lot about the Zerg branches in this matchup, and it seems, two of the trunks is going either like faster evolution chambers for the upgrades, or maybe like a faster layer and actually getting into a Spire or Hydralisk Den. So, at what point would you decide which one of those you were going to do?
Okay, so I think that's stylistic, very stylistic. So I will show you, like, so this game is different because it's 2cc. Usually people will play 3cc, and then you have more like possibilities to actually do stuff.
Okay.
Because if the Terran is playing 2cc, as I said, like a lot of things are just forced. Like this Baning Nest and Spores are forced. You cannot really do anything else. But pretty much when it comes to this like 1-1 or fast lair, like you're playing around the timing at like 7 minutes. Because the Terran is always gonna attack you around 7 minutes. At least with like the normal openings. Like if they open like 6 Helion's Banshees and then there's like timing at 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So at 7 minutes, Zerg needs something. Either 1-1 upgrades or he needs bending speed.
Okay.
And I think generally it's just between pro players at least it's considered that fast lair bending speed is better. Oh. So like I never do 1-1. I always go for fast lair bending speed. Because because if you get 1-1, then you kind of are telling yourself that you're gonna do something on the other side of the map with the 1-1 Zerglings. But it usually just doesn't work. Usually the Terran has like a siege tank at home or Helions at home and your Zerglings just don't do much. Then again, like sometimes you see like Rogue or Raynor actually like get those run by Sin and win the game. But it's, like I think it's most players think that bending speed is just more consistent. Because you can do the bending run by at 7 minutes. And it's also very good. So you just need something. Because at 7 minutes all the Terran upgrades finish, so they have combat shield, steam and 1-1. And you just need something, one of those two things to deal with that.
Okay.
And then you can also go for different stuff like roaches, for example. Sure. But it's again like I think it's not considered the best. Like this fast lair bending speed is considered the best for sure by everyone pretty much.
And you think that's across regions as well?
Yeah, everybody that like have a brain
okay.
think that it's the best. But like of course like roaches are also fine on some maps. And then you would decide it probably before the game. Yeah, probably before the game you would decide already on most of those things. Like usually there's just not much decision making like right now. Like it's not like I see 6 Helions and now I decide to go roaches. Usually it's just you have that planned before the game. And because those stuff will be forced, like those things are just reactions, like those spores and a Baning Nest. And after those reactions are done, you can just do whatever you want. So you can go roaches, you can go fast bailing speed, you can go 1-1 melee, you can go fast, you could go lair right now and go like free base muta, that's also a possibility. Yeah, pretty much. But most people just like to go lair, bailing speed and then fourth base. Mm-hmm. And then after that go lurkers, because lurkers I think are just objectively like just the best unit right now. Like better than Mutaling Bane, better than Roach Ravager. Like as long as you get to lurkers is like the ultimate late game unit. So some people go for example Roach Ravager into lurker. Like Dark does that. And it works, but even recently Dark I think stopped doing that because like there's just no point, like you can as well just go Link Bane Hydra into Lurker and it's just better, you just get more drones, you get your tech faster. Like the roaches are actually usually just dead supply, like at some point you just throw it away and there was no point into doing that.
Okay.
So if you go roaches, usually the point is to just go all in and go like 1-1 all in and do the timing. And then if that fails, then you go into lurkers. But if you see somebody go roaches into lurkers just because like they want to macro like that, then it doesn't really make sense.
Okay. Dark's a bit of an outlier. But as you said, maybe he's also stopping.
I mean, if it works for him, it's fine. Like it's it's a different style. But like if you play perfect Link Bane into Lurker, then it's just much better than Roach Ravager into Lurker.
Alright, okay. So the game goes on, and then what's the next like branch here? Talking about your gas timings, perhaps?
Yeah, so the gas timings are whatever. Every single player is gonna have it different, pretty much. Because it's just optimal. Like with Zerg, it's kind of optimization. And I don't know, some people are gonna play fast 6 gas, some people are gonna saturate the base faster. It really, you cannot read too much into that.
And what
It's
is
always gonna be
fast
different.
6 gas for? Is it going to be for... What emphasis does that put on? Just give me the...
So like 4 gas means you're just gonna play Link Bane.
Uh-huh.
If you 5-6 gas, it means you're gonna go like Hydras.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go more gas, then it means you're probably going lurkers, and you're taking up. So like 6 gas, and if you stay on 6 gas, you're probably gonna all in with something. Either like Hydra Link Bane, maybe you're just gonna spam Hydra Link Bane. You're not really gonna tech. So yeah, usually you're just gonna get more gases.
So there is
yeah. Go on.
You know, I think usually maybe we wouldn't pick up on that, but we would say like, oh, okay, they're being aggressive. That could actually be forewarned by the gas, how long they're still on 4 gas. We could be like, oh, they might be setting up for a big, counterattack after they take care of this one.
Yeah, it's very hard to like make a read out of from like Zerg gases, honestly.
Okay.
Especially that it just people forget them. Like it's just very hectic. Games are very hectic, and the Zerg build orders are just very flexible. I mean, this game I have 77 drones. Another game I'm gonna have 85. Literally in the same game because I don't know. I defended the Hellions a bit better. So like every game is so much different that you cannot just read too much into it.
Okay.
But yeah, like if Zerg stays on 4 gases and like he's just expanding everywhere and like massing Link Bane, then you can like imagine that they probably just wants to like flood opponent, and it's a strategy actually. Like you get like a lot of hatcheries, you get this base, you get a macro hatch here, and then you just spam Link Bane and you're like you do a Baning run by, you try to catch the Terran army in the middle of the map.
Okay.
It's a pretty good strategy. But overall, yeah, like most people, I think Katowice is gonna be like lurker spam, honestly.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, at least in ZVT. In other matchups, not so much, but like in ZVT, it's gonna be lurkers every single game. Maybe some people are gonna play Mutaling Bane because it's very good, like if you play it well. But like it almost doesn't make sense to play anything other than lurker.
Okay.
Because also like one of the biggest Terran weaknesses that maybe people don't point out too much is the detection. Because like nobody makes ravens, and if they make raven for detection, it's usually just bad because you're gonna get it sniped at some point. And at this stage of the game, Terran has only 3 command centers and 0 scans, right? If they drop any mules, which I think in Europe already, some people just drop much less mules, like they wouldn't drop as many. Like people like you, Thermal, uses all the energy just for scans. They almost never drop mules.
Okay.
Because right now, like this is the biggest weakness of Terran, because if Zerg gets Burrow right now, and I get like Baling Mines on the map, I get Lynx burrowed on his bases, then they need to, like, the moment they want to take the 4th base, they need to scan. Then I'm gonna come here, right, with Zerglings, I'm gonna make it float, burrow another one, they need to scan again. Then they gonna blow up their army with a Baling Mine. Next time they come here, they need to scan. And it's like... and after that, lurkers will come. And if lurkers come and you don't have like 3 or 4 scans banked, then you're just dead.
Okay. Yeah.
So, because of that, lurker is just... it's just another class for lurker.
It's another threat.
If you play Mutaling Bane, they can actually just drop all the mules they want. They don't care.
Yeah,
but the threat of lurker is just so big.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think it's, when I think about it, it's obvious, but now I'm not really thinking along that type of trajectory at this point. So that's actually pretty cool to maybe bring up.
Yeah.
So, for the Terran side of things, there's also games, not in this series, I don't think, but there's games where they go for a really fast 4th CC. Are you really worried about scouting their build order from that, like, 4-ish minute point, or is it more about their army movement?
So, I mean, the scout at 4 minutes is like the most important scout.
Right, yeah.
But after that, one sec. Yeah, it's more like it's about their army movement. Then you like all the other scout is so game dependent. There's no more timings after that. I would say.
Yeah.
Like there's obviously you can memorize some timings. Like let's say you see this command center, you might know exactly when it lands, so like you can block it, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can maybe time the run by. Another timing that's so important is the 7 minutes when they attack. So that's when you're gonna see like all the Zerg do the run bys, you know.
Yeah.
Like at 7 minutes, this game is obviously like I cannot really show you in this game because it was a very weird build order by time and stuff like that.
Right, yeah. You know, like, there's been moments where I'm casting the game and it feels like seeing that, like, 630 4th base, you know, like the super fast ones, might have been worthwhile for the Zerg to scout, and it feels like sometimes you guys just never do. Maybe kind of with run by, but is, you know, I'm just asking, is that because it's so much, you know, it kind of is told by watching the army as well? Or do you think that your path has already been set as a Zerg player, so whether they go for a 4th CC really fast or not doesn't necessarily make a difference to you?
Yeah, it just doesn't really make a difference.
Okay.
Like I don't see the like I mean what you need to scout is if they're going 8 tracks.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so that's it. Like that's one of the things.
Mm-hmm. An example is the later in this tournament, I think Cure was playing like very consistently, like super fast 4th CCs versus Solar, and he was playing like super.
Yeah, but you cannot really punish it.
Okay.
I guess. I mean, if you scout it, you can maybe like drone a bit faster or something, but it really almost doesn't make a difference. Like, there's not much you can do.
Okay.
Because even if it's 8 tracks, you can still go like almost 90 drones. So, if you play the game properly. So, it's just not gonna be like much difference. Like, if they get a 4th CC, then whatever. You can maybe go 100 drones instead of 90.
Jeez.
But yeah, like it just doesn't really make a difference because the 4th CC is what 400 minerals.
Yep.
But the Terran is gonna be on the map with his army. Like he's gonna have 2 medivacs here, 2 medivacs here. He's gonna be harassing you, and there's just no difference. Like you're still gonna be under pressure. And for example, Maru with 4 CC is still gonna put more pressure than like Utermal with 3 CC. You know, so like the difference is just so small.
And on that note,
and it depends on
do you have any insight, you know, from the Zerg's perspective as to what makes Maru, you know, seemingly so much better at this like supreme late game than other Zergs?
Yeah, I mean, I think he just positions his army well, and that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I don't know what else.
Defensively or offensively?
Defensively.
Okay.
Because it's about like having the like siege tank setup, and like Zerg cannot attack where the ghosts are, pretty much, and the bio. So what Zerg needs to do is he needs to see that, let's say the bio is standing here, and the CC, there's a planetary here. So now the Zerg wants to like do a bailing run by here. Or let's say siege lurkers here. And but the Terran has sensor towers everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, one second, I need to get some water because
Sure.
My throat hurts for some reason. Okay, yeah. So, like Zerg wants to attack where the bio is not. And Maru just sees it and just moves the army fast, I don't know. That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Like, if the Terran is spread a lot, like they have planetary here, and then it's sometimes just very difficult for a Terran to actually have the bio in correct spot. But I think Maru just keeps the check on where the Zerg army is, and like he just doesn't get surprised. Honestly, like the rotations are pretty long for both players. So as long as you have the awareness to know where the Zerg army is, then you can do it.
Okay.
Like pretty much what the situation is gonna be like is, let's say I have 10 lurkers here, Terran bio is here, planetary here, and then I just take my army, I click here, siege them here on this planetary, and the Terran army is still standing here. Like if it's like a European Terran, for example.
Yeah.
Because they were, I don't know, macroing, maybe there was a Nidus here, they were clearing it up, and they just didn't look at the, maybe I killed a sensor tower here, so they didn't see the rotation, and they didn't keep a check on it, and 10 seconds later I'm here, I'm still killing this base. But Maru is just gonna keep the check all the time. He knows where the army is. If he sees the lurkers are not here anymore, maybe they are here, then he just takes the bio, clicks here, and he can defend it pretty easily at that point. So obviously it's about like distracting with Niduses. Maybe there's like a link round by goes here when the bio is here, and at the same time I'm rotating. Like it's stuff like that. It's just gonna be about attention most of the time.
Yeah. No, it's still really good as far as to frame the context of that late game.
Yeah.
Any other big points for the ZVT?
In ZVT, maybe you have questions? I'm not sure.
I tried to ask the questions that I'm usually a little lost on, or just trying to get like some direction from the Zerg's perspective, because I think that's, besides our knowledge, which you guys have more of, obviously. I think we also, we don't have too many Zerg commentators, so our, flipping between the perspectives doesn't happen as often. In the Zerg, we're very comfortable talking about the Terran's perspective. So, yeah, for me, it's really helpful to get kind of where your head is at and where you're looking for.
Yeah, okay. So we can maybe go other mashup then.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I think, like, the interesting stuff in ZVT, honestly, are the beyond build orders when it comes to early game.
Yeah.
Like the ones where you try to confuse Zerg if it's 2-1-1 or 1-1-1.
Yeah.
Like those are the interesting stuff. Really.
Yeah, agreed. Beyond's pretty interesting. But yeah, we can go into like ZVZ.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because honestly, like besides those openings where the Terran is confusing Zerg, like it's all pretty straightforward. But I'm pretty sure in Katowice it's mostly gonna be those like confusing build orders.
Okay.
It's gonna be a lot of like battle cruiser openings. It's gonna be a lot of like those 2cc openings, because most of the time they play 3cc, obviously, because it's just better and you don't need to deal this damage. But in a prepared series, it's it's gonna be much more about the surprise and actually dealing this damage. Okay, maybe we can go ZVZ or ZVP. ZVZ is just rough right now.
Well, okay, why?
But maybe because it's like there's so much stuff that can happen, so many build orders, like it's just complicated, very complicated, and very it is a bit gambly, I would say. So not only it's okay, so first of all ZVZ. So let's talk about ZVZ, yeah. So you have the map pool that already is like it's just sad, to be honest. Because you have
Okay.
Because you have two maps with gold base. And gold base is just a coin flip, honestly. It always was. But usually it wasn't first of all, we never had, I think, two maps with gold base. And this map is just a straight up a coin flip. So Blackburn, you have a gold base. If you take it, let's say Hatch first on a gold base and the other guy gets blue base, then it's pretty bad for you as the blue guy. You already like lost the coin flip. But there's maybe some tricks you can still try. But let's say it's like 40-60. Right? Like you can still gamble, you can win 40% of the games, but you're always gonna be slightly behind, and you kind of need to win the next coin flip to come back to the game. On Pride, if the opponent takes the gold base and you take the blue base, it's game over. There's nothing you can do anymore. Okay. Because the base is obviously it's full, so much more money. The only thing you can do is like mass link Bane and try to kill it, but the opponent can do the same. Like the guy can literally do the same thing as you. He's gonna have queens also. So there's nothing you can do. It's literally just unfair. And in ZVZ, if you have much more money like that, then it's just so simple. It's so simple.
Why doesn't everyone take the gold base then?
Because it's a coin flip. Because you can go, if you go 12 pull, let's say a normal 12. Well, I mean, there's just a lot of things you can do.
Okay.
12, 11, 12 pull. Well, if you go spine crawler rush, then it's probably bad. Because then if you put spine crawlers in the main base, then he can just take all the drones and go to the gold base, right? So it actually, I think Lambo lost a game like that to Solar. But yeah, like, I mean, there's just build orders that will kill this base.
Right, okay. I mean, it makes sense. I asked you a very, like, softball question, but I just wanted to get the thorough answer.
Yeah. Okay, then you have maps like Curious Minds and Berlingrad. So those are very small maps. And then again, it's a lot of very, like, so many build orders. There's so much gambles here. Like, you can play 2 base openings. 2 base is already something I could talk about for like a whole day. Because you can play 2 base in like 100 different ways and fake it in 100 different ways.
Okay.
And in small maps, they're just very strong, right? Because it's a short distance, so let's say the 3 base player, you play 3 base on this side, 2 base on this side, and you have no idea what this opponent is doing, and then you see like 40 Zerglings run out of this base. You just have only couple seconds to actually make a response. So that's why, like, maybe if you play perfect, maybe you can like gather a response, like make a super quick wall off, pull all the workers back. I don't know. You can try that, but like it's just gonna be so hard if you're not prepared already before. Just all the all-ins from on a short map are like that are gonna be tough. 12 pulls, all the 1 base builds, which you have like 10 1 base builds, like 12 pull, 12 pull spine crawler rush. You can go 12 11, 13 12. Like the 13 12, which is like the gas pull hatch, Link Bane all-in, or just like Link Flood, like super fast one. You can play it in so many different ways to like fake your opponent. That is, it's already just another issue for ZVZ.
Yeah.
Then you can play like pull first, gas pull hatch, like in a macro way. It's like 16-15, like, or 17-16, I don't remember. And it will obviously win against all the 1 base all-ins, those builds, but you can also like confuse your opponent with those builds. I don't know, there's just so much stuff in ZVZ.
Yeah.
So I cannot even if I was casting myself ZVZ, I would have trouble. I mean, I probably wouldn't have trouble with that, but like I wouldn't be able to say exactly what the Zerg players are doing.
Yeah,
like, because there's just gonna be so much like confusement in those games.
Okay.
Okay, but let's see like a random ZVZ. Like, I don't even know what I did in this game, but like more or less I'm gonna like show you how complicated this is.
Okay.
And another thing is like Zerg players just practice much less ZVZ, so maybe that's also an important point, like, because it's mostly Protoss players right now that are dominating the ladder and the tournaments, or at least like there's just so many of them that we focus on this matchup. And in the past we focused on ZVZ and it was kind of like a mapped out matchup, but right now it got much more complicated and we don't practice it as much, so it's also that.
Interesting, yeah.
So maybe this game is gonna be pretty standard. Yeah. Okay, so this game already is like a small thing that I did, but it changes so much. So normally what you do is this worker here gets the gas, right?
Okay.
Usually this guy goes mineral, this guy goes gas, and this guy goes spawning pool. But this game I go gas like a couple seconds faster. To get link speed a bit faster. And then I want to do pressure on the third base.
Ah, okay.
And actually, I know. Okay, you will get confused here. You will see. Like this is very complicated. Like very small details in this game. So I know exactly how Rogue opens. I know he opens with 2 Zerglings always. Yeah, I usually open with no Zerglings, but I decided this game I'm gonna open with 2 Zerglings. The 2 Zerglings, can do a lot. Like they can pressure the third base, they can scout if you have Bailing Nest, they can scout if you play 2 base, you can like scout a lot. Also, you can maybe sack the Zerglings in. So a lot of things. Maybe you can scout that opponent has Bailing Nest or he doesn't, and then you can hide them and like prepare a pressure later. So those 2 Zerglings at the start is like almost everybody get them. It's very nice. But I know that Rogue will never chase those Zerglings with his Zerglings. Okay. Because it's actually pretty standard. Because like if you start chasing those Zerglings, then it's just pretty much a mistake. Because if you want to do that, then you might as well not make those Zerglings and just make them later. And like just get those Zerglings like 30 seconds later and just start fighting right here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Yeah, because like there's no point in getting those Zerglings this fast if you want to chase those Zerglings anyway. So you go across the map. And I know that Rogue will never get like additional Zerglings to deal with those Zerglings. What he will do is he will get 1 fast queen here and send 1 queen here, which almost nobody does that.
Okay.
Right, because it's just pretty expensive to get this queen here. Like you're gonna float larva and yeah, it's just not very good to do that usually. But he does that every game. So I know I can put a lot of damage on this hatch with those 2 Zerglings. And because of that, I decided to get this like link speed faster. And that's why I want to do link pressure, because I know this hatch will lose like 300 HP.
Uh-huh.
And then I can just click it and maybe kill it before he has respawns.
Wow, okay.
So like this is like so small details, like getting gas 3 seconds faster. The fact that he gets like this 3rd queen differently than others, like it's just very, very weird. And then like he always does this, but I knew it in preparation that he's gonna do it, and at some point he's gonna go back, because like he's not gonna sit here until he has 50 energy. So I know I can go back, right? Mm-hmm. And that's literally a preparation. I was like watching this for like maybe 1 hour to like figure something like this out, that he's gonna go back. And that's like 100 more damage on this is gonna like... actually in this game, I think, I don't know what he did. I think he forgot to macro or something. Maybe he's supply blocked, I think. And then the game is just over.
It was an odd one.
So like, yeah, so it's like so... And that's like Rogue, right? Like one of the best players in the world. But this is ZVZ. Like I have good preparation, it all works for me, and the guy just forgot Overlord. Yeah. And then like this is ZVZ. You're gonna get so many games like that. And now he just like there's no way for him to win. Now maybe another concept in ZVZ is like this Muta versus Roach. Mm-hmm. So the Muta is pretty much the best way to play.
Okay.
But the way to beat it, you have like Katowice, like 2 gas all in. So you have 2 gas Roach all in. You have 3 gas plus 1 defense. And you have like 4 gas Nidus. Or 5 gas Nidus.
Those are 2 different ones. 4.
Well, I mean, it's like 4 gas Nidus is more optimized. Okay. But very often you will go like 5 gas to play a different build order. Let's say like you want to go like this very popular like 55 John Nidus all in. It like Serral does that. I did that a lot. So it's like a pretty strong Roach all in, but you need to modify it the moment you realize it's Mutas. Because 5 gas is a bit too much. So it's like the same build order actually, but it just depends on the execution. So you have those 3 ways. Those are the ways to like kill the Muta player. You can maybe also go for like a Corruptor Roach Queen all in on a small map.
Right, we were seeing that. Yeah. Yeah,
you can do that, but it all depends on your setup a lot. Like if you have to get like Lair about on the same timing as the Muta player, which it's sometimes gonna happen, sometimes not. So in this case, we can still like learn from this, because I'm gonna go for the, like I know I'm just very far ahead, but like this still applies. So I know I'm not gonna go 2 gas all in, because like the guy is on 2 base, so it's pretty stupid.
Okay, yeah.
I might do one of those two things. If I think it's Muta, then I might do one of those two things. But other than that, like if it's not Muta, then you kind of just need to macro up. But right now I'm thinking to myself, I'm very far ahead, and I want to finish this game quickly, and I don't want to let him come back. So the way he can come back is to go Muta. So I figured, like, if I play like this, I probably will be good versus if he macros, because like if he, well, like what can he do? Like he can go 2 base roach, but versus 2 base roach plus 1 defense is gonna be pretty good. And then I'm gonna deny his third base. And if he goes Muta, then I'm just gonna kill him. So at least that's my thought process right now. So I'm thinking I'm gonna get plus 1 defense and I'm just gonna like get roaches. And whatever he does. So let's say like my vision, still denying his third base. Like I know I'm very far ahead. And I'm getting the roaches for this like plus 1 defense timing. Just to, I don't know. But honestly, I'm getting a bit confused because he still doesn't have the third base. And I'm thinking maybe I'm not gonna break him. So right now I'm thinking to myself, okay, so maybe plus 1 defense on is not gonna work. So that, and I'm pretty convinced now that he's going Muta. So then I go into option 3, which is the 4 gas Nidus. Because I already figured, like, okay, he's going Muta. My plus 1 defense all-in probably is not gonna work, but I still have the third option, which is the plus 1, the Nidus. And the Nidus is the strongest out of them all. Because if you get the Nidus out with spores, like the Muta player cannot do anything anymore. And you can just contain them forever.
Yeah, this was the tricky one where you barely hid the Overlord. Kind of remember it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually lost the queens, so that's very good for him, because the queens are the essential part.
Yeah.
So yeah, he maybe could have came back, but like I have so much stuff going for myself. I have very good drone count, I have plus 1 defense, and plus 1 defense is the best upgrade against Muta in Bane, obviously. Because Muta just deals much less damage. It's good for all the units, even for drones, right? If Mutas get to my drone line and start shooting, they kill my drones slower. So like plus 1 defense is just, if you get plus 1 defense against Muta, it's just generally very good. And you could even start plus 2 defense here. It wouldn't be too stupid, but yeah, I mean this upgrade is just so much cheaper than that I get it.
You're right. Sure.
Yeah, but like plus 2 defense, if you get it here, it will actually, I would not be surprised.
Interesting. I don't think I've seen anyone do it, to be honest, but ZVZ is now a rarity, so...
Yeah, probably nobody would do it, but just saying, like, it's not bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, the moment that the Nidus goes up, it's pretty much game over. Like, those mutants can never engage. I actually attacked.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get spores with like BA, but then I just clicked attack and clicked on the Nidus. Right. Like this setup, like this is already like doom for my opponent, right? Like there's nothing he can do. Yeah. I will slowly come here, get the setup here, and he can leave the game. Because the moment he goes across the map with mutas, I just go into his base, and I can get some spores myself here. Maybe I can sack those 2 bases, get 10 spores here. So he cannot go across, and if he just stays at home, then I will just get more spores, more queens, and he's gonna lose. So you're gonna see this a lot in ZVZ probably, this setup, like if you play versus mutas. This is probably the best way to deal with mutas. But very often you're just not gonna scout mutas on time, and you're not gonna have a setup to be able to do this, and then you just need to play macro against somebody that's ahead, pretty much. Yeah, so that's why ZVZ is also, so not only ZVZ is coin flippy in the build orders, not only is coin flippy with the gold bases, but then it's also coin flippy with the like mutas against like those 3 all-ins that I just said against standard macro. Yeah, so and on top of that you have like 100 different build orders you can do and confuse your opponent, so and you're gonna get like mind games. Somebody like, Lambo is gonna play one game 1 base all in that he never did before, another game is gonna be like 2 base, showing you that he's playing 2-base Muta, but it's gonna be like a Nidus, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very hard matchup, like very, very hard. And to like try to minimize the gambling, it's like you can do it, you can try it, but it's just gonna be very difficult with all those, with all those ideas pretty much. Like you cannot just play like Serral, which, fast Evo Chamber, get like into Roach macro every single game. Like it's almost.
Wow.
I mean, the fact that Serral cannot really do it himself, like he's losing so much, then it shows.
Yeah, he's getting kind of wrecked in the matchup.
Yeah, it's difficult, this matchup. But maybe, I mean, I will try to like figure it out in the next days. I didn't really practice it that much, but like you just need a lot of build orders, and like maybe veto the gold maps.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe you learn. If you can prepare for your opponent and he's not gonna like play so much different than what he usually does, then you can like quite consistently win against those players. But if they prepare well, then it's hard. It's very hard.
Okay. You think that ZVZ's become a bit of a gamble matchup and also a matchup where you have to have a lot of variety? You have to be as tricky as your opponent?
Yeah, I think so, actually. Like I always try to like be very like strict with my openings. Like I usually just do like one opening or like 3 openings and I just mix them. But in this matchup, it seems like you just need so much more.
Yeah. Well, we only have like a couple more minutes, so just I guess real quick,
I can like give you a ZVP. Like I can give you like I don't know.
Yeah, if you're up for it, then sure we can.
Just
ZVP.
I don't know which
you played a
matchup.
ZVP versus Zest, but
okay. Oh, but this was like very weird series, so maybe this is not like this was super not standard.
Group C had maybe Max Pax versus Dark. That's actually the only other ZVP that happened because it had so few Protoss.
No, what? I don't have elimination match.
I can send it to you. I don't know why.
Do you have?
Elimination. There it is. Whoop. There you go. Send.
Okay. Yeah, like I think in ZVZ pretty much like you have those like packs of build orders, like let's say 1 base, like you scout a 1 base and it can be like 10 different build orders pretty much. And you need to learn responses to all of them. And if your opponent can play like a lot of build orders from this one pack, then it like will really confuse you. Then you have like 20 build orders out of the 2 base. So you scout 2 base and then again it can be like 20 different things. And then you can play 3 base and then again you can play like 20 different things.
Okay.
so you can like have probably like a specialist on 1 base all-ins. And that's already difficult to deal with. And if somebody is able to play like a lot of build orders from each of those packs, then it's like very difficult. Very difficult to prepare for everything. Okay. So ZVP is obviously just gonna be like a Void Ray Fiesta. There's really not much. This matchup is actually the most straightforward. Like this one I can explain exactly what's going on. Like very important is like this beginning, but I don't know if in cast it helps you at all. But I
had some people go over Harsum, I guess, went over the intricacies of the openers.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to like the warp gate the cyber should always finish at like 211, and then it's like important if it's like warp gate fast or not. It's important if it's like chrono boosted adept,
right?
Or 2 chrono boosts. But it all is like I don't know if you need to cast about it. Like maybe it's as a fun fact you can say it during a cast that I see like 2 chrono boosts on an adept. That means like there's gonna be quick 2 adept pressure and Like he's maybe gonna try to suck the adepts into like main base or the third base, like something like that can happen. But yeah, it's probably something like you can just point out. It doesn't really. For me, it's important. For the cast, I don't know if it's important.
I mean, no, that's useful. That's helpful. I think one of the things that was kind of interesting was that Hearthstone went on a lot about the warp gate coming out first or second, right? And if it comes out second, then it was a Stargate. We kind of like that's the basis.
Exactly.
But then
that's pretty much the main.
Lambo said that you couldn't trust that because Protoss is...
Yeah, they can fake you. They very often they will fake you. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you put a lot of stock in that scout?
No, but it's one of the pieces of the puzzle,
Okay.
So like in this game, like Dark Scouts, he sees no warp gate, he sees no chrono. So if I saw that, I would know, or at least I would assume that it's probably a Stargate. I probably wouldn't be sacking this Overlord. I would like stay here for a bit longer to see if it's a stalker, maybe. And for example, here you don't need 4 Zerglings. Like you can just play on 2 Zerglings, and because there's no chrono, so you actually can play a bit greedier. So for example, Dark is making a mistake already, small one. Then he goes back to check for the second chrono boost, and he sees again no chrono boost. That means like there's more chronos on probes or maybe on Oracle, whatever. But still, you just don't need to make additional Zerglings. Like if there was 1 chrono, then Dark probably should have like 6 Zerglings, and if there's 2 chronos, then you should get like 10 Zerglings.
Okay.
No, just to defend the bases from the adepts. But yeah, you just need to look at it and like get Zerglings accordingly. And it's difficult because if you're stressed and it just you just need, there's a lot of looking. Like you need to macro up, constantly look at the wall to check, and yeah, it's like if you play well, then you should always do it right. But sometimes you can forget an Overlord or something. I don't know. Here he's mispositioned, obviously. The Overlords are in bad spots actually. Like the Overlords need to spot the Adept.
Yeah.
Or at least like you need to have one of those 2 locations spotted. And then the Queen with the Zerglings should be on the other side. So let's say if you had Overlord here, then you have Queen and Zerglings here. And then if the Adept is coming, then you just come here, right?
Yeah, I mean, that seems really weird. That seems like every Zerg player would have at least one covered, as you're saying.
Yeah, she's making a mistake, but yeah, I'm just saying, like it's actually difficult, right? Like you're constantly looking at the wall.
If
and you can make a mistake.
Chronoed, would that Overlord to the right have seen it?
No, this is I don't know. This is smart actually. But because he wants to get a follow-up scout after the Void Ray kills this Overlord.
All right.
So it's nice. This is some people will do it, but I think maybe this is too fast. Like maybe it should be the next Overlord. Maybe this one Overlord should do it. Maybe this is too fast.
Okay.
So this is very bad losing a drone. Void Ray. Okay. So this is so standard. Everybody will do the same. Now this is the important stuff. Is like how to protect this base. Usually Protoss player will always leave 1 unit here. Like without any of those 2 units at the third base, Zerg can blindly, let's say, make 10 Zerglings or more and just run around. You're gonna kill this Adept, you're gonna kill this Pylon, and maybe even snipe this base. And that's just so bad for Protoss, and it actually happens sometimes. So Protoss players, if they're greedy, they send 2 units across the map, and maybe it will work for them. But sometimes they get punished, and if they're just super safe, then they will leave 1 unit at home. So this game, he just plays very greedy, right? Like if there was 10 Zergling around by right now, he's very sad. And this is gonna happen, so maybe this is something very important to point out, like if the units are on the map or not. Because they do need 1 unit to defend.
Okay.
And also this, right after Warp Gate, this is the most standard build order right now. The moment the Warp Gate is finished, around 4 minutes, +1, and after +1 you get Void Ray into Stargate, like that's the build order.
Yeah.
And this +1, this is literally to defend the Queen Walk.
Okay.
So this is the point of this upgrade. If you knew Zerg is not gonna Queen Walk, then you would actually not do it.
But how?
Because this upgrade you need to, well, you don't know, so you just get it every game. But the point is, like, this upgrade you need to start it super fast and like chrono boost it maybe even once. So the moment the queens arrive, your +1 finishes, and literally at the same timing. And then you can actually defend the queen walk much easier.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's one of the ways Zerg can scout. So Zerg can now like send a Zergling, and you will see it at 4 minutes all the time. Zerg will send a Zergling here, see the +1. Could be a fake, but most likely it's not.
Right.
So it could be a fake, right? But you scout it, and then you decide you go queen walk. And you know, it's interesting. I don't know.
I have a question for I guess a different type of game. Showtime's been adding a Phoenix in his PvZ openers like a lot. I don't know if you would concur, but from the games that I've watched,
I don't know. I haven't seen that, but that sounds terrible.
Okay, well, so he's doing the so he's not doing Void Ray openers so much, right? He's honorable Protoss. He's doing like the Oracles and the Phoenix, like a very old school opener. Yeah. But he's been, I think, I want to ask him. Maybe I'll just shoot him a message. But it seems like he's actually wanting to incorporate the Phoenix lift for the Oracles to get damage in. You know, that classic one.
Yeah.
I mean, do you see that as maybe a play on the meta? Like he just thinks that people won't be expecting it, so they're gonna like lose 7 drones, or do you think he, I don't know, has some ulterior motive? Like they actually thinks it's a better opener.
No, I mean that must be the only point. But there's just no way this is good, because getting one Void Ray is just so useful. You will kill the Overlord much faster, so you will most likely supply block the Zerg. Then this Void Ray can just defend alone the third base, and will defend all sort of all that Zerg can do. I don't know. Then it also forces Zerg to hide the Overlords, right, like this. Phoenix doesn't do that. Because versus Phoenix, you can have Overlords like spread around, and if the Phoenix arrives, then you just pull them back and it doesn't die. But Void Rays kill the Overlords instantly, so Void Ray is just so much better, like in all the ways, besides just like picking up a queen maybe. But it's just so much better that there's almost no reason not to make it.
Okay.
And there actually is no reason not to make it.
He's done it like, you know, consistently enough. It failed the first time I think I saw it. We were kind of talking and we were like, what the hell, you know? But then the next 2 times it actually worked. So he's doing it consistently. I don't think I'm revealing a strategy. yeah,
I don't know. But even if he does, like I would be happy if he did that versus me. Yeah, okay. It just doesn't sound good. But yeah, so the important stuff. So obviously ZVP is just gonna be like 90% is gonna be like Queen Walks and Void Rays.
Right.
So those are the things like you should be paying attention, like this +1. And I guess like the way Zergs do it is. Imagine if there was no +1, then Zerg doesn't know if it's 2-star gate Void Ray. But then if Zerg Queen Walks, then he will 100% win. But you need to do it blindly, because you have no tell. The only tell is that there's one Void Ray, and that's not enough of a tell. But if there's +1, then you do have a tell that is 2-star gate Void Ray, but if you Queen Walk, then it doesn't. It's not likely that you're gonna win. It depends on the map. Then you have maps where you're gonna kill them, and you have maps where you're not gonna kill them. For example, this map is very big. You're never gonna kill a Protoss that does this. So this is actually as brain dead as it gets. But Protoss cannot lose the game like this. Like you can scout this. There's nothing you can do about it as Zerg. You have to play late game pretty much.
Okay.
Or you can try to do like a corruptor timing, maybe. Like so some people tried it. I tried it a lot. Like if Protoss plays perfectly, there's nothing you can do. But maybe they can make a mistake. Maybe they can make a mistake and maybe you can kill them. But you versus this, if you scout it, you cannot Queen Walk really. Because it's just too far, you know the Queen Walk is not gonna work. But if it was like Curious Minds or Berlingrad or what other small map there is, like...
It's the smallest ones.
Yeah, I think just those 2. If I scout this and I Queen Walk, I 100% win the game.
Okay.
So some Protoss players will do it, and that's just straight up a mistake. Like, if they do it, they are not very smart, I would say.
I mean, Zest did it.
Yeah, it's just bad. Like, he should die always.
Okay, alright.
But on this map, if you do this, then you're smart as Protoss. So good job by MaxPax, and MaxPax understands this, I think. Because he plays the good build orders usually.
Yeah,
so
this
like
game
on a small
wins.
map like Curious Minds and Berlingrad, MaxPax actually plays Glaive Adepts.
Right.
Or like DT drop, stuff like that. Which are also stronger on small maps, so he's like very smart to do that. Very predictable, but very smart. And on big maps, you just do this every single game, no matter what. 2 Stargates +1 and you go into late game. And Dark tries to Nidus, interesting, but it's not gonna work. Or it shouldn't work at least.
It doesn't. Kind of
Because
lasts
you look,
forever,
the +1 is actually gonna, because this is exactly like Queen Walk, just a bit worse. Just a bit worse. So again, there's no reason to play like that really. And +1 just finished exactly in time, right? Like it's supposed to.
Yeah. You know, Lambo's had opinions about the Korean Zerg Queen Walks. Do you have any opinions about their style in ZVP?
I think, yeah, they're just not doing it properly, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Queen Walk is pretty straightforward, really. Like all you need to do is like look at mine or Lambo's build order and you can just copy it.
Right. Yeah.
But Koreans, I don't know, they do their own versions and usually they're just not optimized. Like it's very weird. Like this Nidus, I can understand it because it's a big map, so a Queen Walk would not work. But this also doesn't work, so there's not really no difference. I don't know why would you do that.
Don't you know? It is just a back.
But yeah, I mean, it is scary. Like, I mean, if Protoss doesn't play well at all, then this can win. But actually, like you see, like MaxPax is actually pretty good at it, and it's pretty straightforward.
Playing well, just microing the void rays, not losing any.
It's mostly about making static. Like,
Okay, yeah.
like microing is not very difficult, right? Like, it's just like click. He actually micros very bad, I have to say. so it's not one of his strong points. He lost like 3 void rays, I think, this game already. But yeah, it's like very straightforward. Like this is not even close. The guy has disruptors. Like there's so much static. You would have to have like twice as much units, I think, to break this as Zerg.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have that, and this is just gonna be a lot of this, a lot. And yeah, the VP is pretty boring to be honest. Maybe that. So you're gonna have this, like you're gonna have 2 Stargate void rays, and you're gonna have Zerg players trying to all in into this or going into macro straight up.
I like the next.
And you're gonna get a lot of and you're gonna get a lot of Curious Minds, exactly. On small maps you're gonna get a lot of the Glaive Adepts.
Right.
Which is not as good, obviously, and I think if Zerg plays perfectly, then they probably can shut it down. But it's, for example, MaxPax plays it quite well, I think, actually. And Zest probably also plays it quite well. Like, they can challenge, I think, Zerg players a lot with that.
And how do they play it well?
I don't know, it's just like adept control and just the follow-up, I guess. It's hard to say. But yeah, this game, it was Warp Gate instantly. Wait, actually, was it 2 Chrono Boosts? Okay, so 2 Chrono Boosts and a fast Warp Gate. So as Zerg, you know that you need to get first a lot of Zerglings, and very likely it's Glaive Adepts. So as you see, he actually gets 8 Zerglings, which is probably the good amount right now, considering there was 2 Chronos. Stalker. To deny vision. Okay, so right now the setup for Zerg is this is fine, I guess. Like right now the setup is you want to get 40 drones and the Roach Warren. And that's it. Like this is the setup. And the Roach Warren timing, it doesn't really matter. You can get it like between 3:30 and like 4:00. Like that's all fine. If there's no Roach Warren at like 4 minutes, then you can probably point it out that the guy forgot Roach Warren.
Okay.
But that's pretty much it. Like if you get it at 3 minutes even, like I don't know. It would be weird, but like I don't even. Some people do it. I like it to get it late. I like it to get it at like 4 minutes personally.
Okay.
So right now, very important is there's like 3 possibilities. There's like Adept, there's and you can play Glaive Adept in like a lot of different ways. So there's no like one timing or, right? Like you can play 4 gates, 5 gates, or 3 gates. You can just play it in a lot of different ways. Even I don't really understand them. You can play DT Drop. DT Drop is just a mind game. Like you're hoping that the Zerg forgets or skips spores. If Zerg has spores, then DT Drop is just behind, and then you have. So you can make Stargate, just like you faked Warp Gate, you faked the Stalker, but you made a Stargate, you made 2 Oracles, you fly like this around the map, and you go into Mineral Line. And that's, or Proxy Stargate also works.
Right.
And those are the 3 build orders. And you can probably also make like some other proxy, but it's just rare. So because of that, Zerg needs to, again, it's about making spores or not. Because if Zerg makes 0 spores and then Glaive Adepts come, then Zerg is like usually crushing it, because you just have so many units. But if you skip spores and DTs come or Oracles come, then you can get fucked.
Yeah.
And it's the other way. It's like, if you get 3 spores and one of those 2 builds come, then you're just very far ahead. But if this comes and it hits you sharp, then you're just dead as Zerg. So there's a bit of small mind games here.
Yeah.
But the way you can tell it usually, and it all has very nice timings too, because around 4 minutes you already need to decide if you want to get the spores or not. Well, 4:20 for the DTs, but like for the Oracles, let's say, you want to have the spores at like 4:10. So right now you already need to decide if you want to get spores, but you have no information whatsoever. Even if it's Glaives, the moment you know it is right here. If you have a Zergling patrolling at 4:20.
Yeah.
So he got 2 blind spores right now. Exactly for the Oracles or DT drop. He still skips 1 because it's just too expensive. Like you need to find a middle ground usually as Zerg. Like if you get 3 spores and then Glaive Adepts come, then you're just dead. So he goes in the middle and just hopes nothing comes here, and most likely won't, right? I mean, if it's Oracles, then usually they come from here or here, so it's fine. And if it's DTs, then again, they usually won't come like into your natural base, but they might. I mean, there's actually a possibility he could die like this.
Right.
But it's just always a risk, I guess. And then there's 2 responses you can do to this. You can either do this like Ravager Rush, so you get 3 roaches. If you got Roach Warren early enough, you go 3 Ravagers and then a Zergling. And it's very strong because you can zone the Warp Prism. So the Warp Prism can never warp in because you can just bile it.
Yeah. I mean, this is the best response to a death.
Yeah, probably. But it's not as good against those 2. Probably. Right?
Well, at this point, what is the other way to play against Adepts? Because it feels.
I mean, the other way is to get like later Roach Warren, and you just get like a lot of Zerglings, like 30, 40 Zerglings. Okay. And then after those Zerglings, you can like start getting Roaches.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, and there's one more opening actually. There's also Robo first into like Disruptor drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's one more, but it's 1 versus which you don't really need a sharp reaction, I would say. Because it's just a very fast Warp Prism comes first with like 2 Adepts inside, you get to know what it is. And there's just not much that there is to do. Like, I guess if you got like 10 blind Roaches against it, then it's terrible, but you're not supposed to get that. So yeah, usually my response would be like to get 40 Zerglings blindly, because it's just good versus all those options. Also against Disruptor drop, because you don't get any Roaches. And after that, if I see this, or if I see that the guy is morphing Archons from the DT drop, then I get like 10 Roaches. And then I can defend. So those will be the responses. And now it's all about like splitting your army properly. Like if you have the right amount of units, 40 drones, which is the exact response. If you split the units properly, then you should just win as Zerg. Or you should be slightly ahead at least. And if you split it wrong, then you can die. Mm-hmm. And after that, then there's two follow-ups from Protoss. you can either go for like warp in much more Glaive Adepts and go for an all-in with just Glaive Adepts, or get like 2 Immortals and go Glaive Adepts, 2 Immortal all-in. Or the third and the best is this Disruptor drop follow-up. And this is the most common, I would say. So this is, you're gonna see this a lot at Katowice for sure. So it's Glaive Adept push, it didn't work, or maybe it worked slightly, like it doesn't really matter. The follow-up is, I think, where it hits. Like it's the more important part, to be honest. So it actually was very good defense, like it was... Dark is very far ahead. And this is perfect for him. He has 0 roaches, he just has a couple Ravagers. It's so good for him. So the way this works... Okay, so this is so standard. This is gonna happen so much. Yeah, exactly. So there's a weakness for Protoss. When he does this move out, they never have anything at home. So Dark actually playing perfectly this game. Exactly at the right timing he comes in and harasses. But even if you don't do this, like all you need to do here is queens are the most important, I would say. Like 4 queens is actually, all he has is 4 queens this game, but like if he had like 6 queens, then the queens are the most important defenders because disruptors cannot one-shot queens.
Right.
So yeah, the queens just can tank the damage. They can just zone the disruptors until they shoot, and then your army can come in. If you don't have any queens, then this is insanely strong. Actually, this is terrible for Zerg to defend. Like imagine if you have like 10 roaches and like 20 Zerglings, you literally cannot play the game because the adepts obviously will destroy all the Zerglings, so you need to send roaches ahead, but then disruptors. One ball and you cannot really split, you'd have no roach speed. So this is why this is so strong, and the counter is to do this, the queens to the front. So like Dark is just playing perfect game, I would say, this game. The Spire is a bit weird, not necessary. Like I would much prefer him to get like 3 more queens instead of those 2 gases. Just like get a proper setup. Like have 3 more queens, have like 7 queens at the front, and then you can like crush this.
Okay.
And yeah, and that will be like the perfect play probably. Yeah, the queens are trying to zone. Actually very nice. Very nicely played, I would say. And now I would like, this is the situation where it's a bit difficult, like you have nothing. But he actually splits them well, I guess.
Yeah.
And this disarmer was terrible. But this is something you're scared of as a fight like that, I would say. It's just that Dark has so much units right now.
Okay, I think he wins with the Vita.
And this game over. But this is, this is risky. The mutas, and he's asking a bit too much, I would say.
Okay, yeah.
Like, getting this lair super fast, sending all the Zerglings across the map. I mean, this game it worked. But like this is very greedy, and sometimes when I play, I would not get any of this. I would not get +1, I would not get Evo Chamber, I would not get this, I would not get Roach Speed even. Okay. I would not get any of this. And right now, all I would be doing is either getting some more drones, so I would get maybe up to 60 drones, or I would just be getting mass units and queens, just so I can defend this follow-up, because this is very strong and very scary. So the way Dark actually defended it is because he has perfect timing on this counter-attack. I think. It's very, very good that he did it. Otherwise, if he tried to defend this with Mass Zergling, I think it could go very bad for him. And then the Protoss just has free base, gets Colossus.
Yeah.
And then if you try to get Mutas out, then he just warps in a lot of Stalkers, and you can be in a lot of trouble. And you have no follow-up because you're on 50 drones. So you actually have less drones than Protoss.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just very scary, and you need to have a lot of units here, usually, versus this follow-up. Mostly the queens. The queens are the essential part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very helpful. Any other big, I guess, any change-ups in this matchup? It's been pretty much the same for a while now.
Nah, not really. Maybe No, not really. It's just the void race and a lot of different ways to play the void race, so you can like get a lot of void race without +1 sometimes. Sometimes you just get 4 void race into carriers. And then a lot of, and if you play Glaive Adepts, then usually it's just this follow-up. This is like what changed, I guess.
Okay.
I think people consider this the best follow-up. The Disruptor drop and then they go into Stalker Colossus. But they could also play Archon Disruptor or something like that. I don't know. Like Archon Disruptor Immortal. It's also pretty okay, but like usually it's Colossus.
Okay.
Yeah, and Stalkers.
All right. Well, that's pretty good coverage, honestly. I think this game ends pretty soon. Just wanted to ask you some general questions, kind of get your thoughts on preparation for the tournament. So just 5 minutes.
Okay.
So you're coming into the round of 36, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. It's pretty tough. Do you have like anyone that you're truly scared of in the round of 36? Because it actually seems like you're one of the shoo-ins to get to the round of 24.
Let me check. Not really. Well. I mean, the Koreans are pretty strong.
Yeah.
So the Koreans are the ones I'm scared of. So like Bian, Creator, Hero are actually both pretty scary as Protoss players. Because they both play the Mass Void race and it's just difficult to play against. And then Koreans are also difficult. So all the Koreans besides Percival maybe I'm not too scared of.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's a bit odd seeing him there, but yep.
Yeah, the Korean Zergs, as I say, because the ZVZ is just very random, very hard. And those are the only Zergs in the round of 36. Bian is just very strong, and then Creator, Hero, yeah, difficult.
Okay, but you feel pretty confident against like Spirit and Scaleless?
Yeah, pretty confident.
Okay. Any surprises, you think? Looking at who else could advance?
I would like to see Soul do well, to be honest.
Yeah?
I'm interested if he can do well, yeah. I think he's playing pretty decent. He can probably win in all the matchups. So yeah. I think Astra is an underdog. But I actually think Astra is one of the like more talented Protoss from NA. Or like players from NA. So maybe he can do something, but yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, I think it's just gonna be Koreans, most likely, like advancing, getting most of the spots.
Yeah. It's the same old story, I suppose. I believe, though. Guess I kind of want I love Hero, so beyond Hero, you, and then anyone else actually would be kind of cool.
I would DRG is like, I would like him to advance. He's very, very smart, yeah, very strong player.
Okay, cool. And then for the main event, you have any like favorites to win the whole tournament? I think Maru is mostly what people are talking about.
Yeah, I think Maru is definitely one of has very high chance.
Yeah.
No, but I don't have a favorite right now. Not at all.
No? Okay.
It looks very difficult. I think this event, the difference between skill is not as big as usually.
Okay.
Like usually in the previous events you could say like very confidently that it's like Serral or Raynor. In this one it's difficult. I think even you can actually get an upset this time.
Okay.
You can get somebody like I don't know, Clem winning, something like that. I don't know how much of an upset would that be, but
well,
but yeah, you can get somebody like that at least getting to the final or something, like maybe Cure getting to the final.
Do you have any insight into like who do you think might have a better performance than we expect? Like who's been training and studying or anything like that?
No, not really.
Okay.
I can tell you who will not do well, but yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Okay. Yeah, that's
no, but yeah, probably the Koreans. I think they're playing very well right now. So the Koreans, Probably not surprising, but like last event was won by Raynor, right?
Right.
So yeah, this time it's more likely it's Korean gonna win, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Okay. Yeah, that's I think that's, as much as I can really ask of your time. You already gave me more, so thank you very much for going over all the matchups. Really appreciate it. This was very helpful.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
So I will, I guess, talk to you perhaps at Katowice.
Yeah, of course. We can like right because there's a lot of things are gonna change in the next month.
Yeah.
People are gonna be preparing, and new build orders probably gonna just appear in the next 1 month. So we can probably like if you ask me then before the event, I can like give you some more fresh ideas.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'll let you go. Thank you again. Just give me your PayPal if you have it, and yeah, good luck for all your events.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.